Hi everyone, this is Marianne, and I'm here today just for a few quick minutes to share with you answers to some questions that I get asked very frequently about the NUVO Drops products. I've had them at my sale quite a bit, and there are quite a few different ones. And there's always questions as to which kind is this, and how do I remember what they are, and how do I know what they do. So today I'm going to share with you how you can quickly, at a glance, tell the difference in the NUVO drops, what type they are, and then explain to you what each one does, why it's different from the others. That will hopefully help you get more use out of the drops that you have, and as you're looking to purchase new ones, help you be able to make the choices to get the ones that are best for you, that fit with your style of art. So the first kind that we have are NUVO crystal drops. I have three colors here. This is a crushed grape, this is a rhubarb crumble, I believe, and this one is copper penny. Three completely different colors, all very pretty. So all NUVO, let me back that up. NUVO Crystal Drops is probably the one that you'll see the most of. I believe that's the one that there are the most colors of. I'm not even going to attempt to tell you how many different colors there are at this point because I don't know. But NUVO Crystal Drops, they say crystal right here, crystal drops right on the front. Okay, all crystal drops are gloss. So if we look right here, hopefully we'll get a good focus there. Give the camera just a minute. Come on. There we go. You see crystal drops, crushed grape, and to the left it says gloss. So all crystal grapes are crystal grapes, all crushed. Oh boy, I hope you're laughing along with me. All crystal drops are gloss. And that means when you put it down, it's going to have a glossy finish, a glossy sheen on what you put down. I like to put a sample on the top of my cap. So either that or store them upside down, and then maybe you put a sample on the bottom, but then it makes it hard to stand it upright when you're using it if you want to. So I like a sample right there on the top of my cap. So all crystal, if you're writing down or if you're just trying to remember, all crystal drops are gloss, meaning they all have a shine. However, some of the crystal drops, we see crystal drops, copper penny, and then it says metallic. Some crystal drops are also metallic. I say also because gloss means shiny. They are shiny, but they are a metallic shiny. The rhubarb crumble is as well. So I brought two that are metallic shiny. And I'm going to demonstrate them right here so that you can see. So crystal drop is always in the round bottle. It's a round tube all the way up. It has the large lid. It has the large rhinestone or whatever you want to call it on the top, the large gem on the top. So here is the crushed grape. Oop, big old air bubble in there. We'll do a couple of little dots of crushed grape. Get some air bubbles out. Get a little glop of goo out there. Here. So one thing to remember about the drops, the NUVO drops, I will say that right now, just kind of blanket of the NUVO drops, although there is one exception, and I will tell you what that is when we come to it. But the NUVO drops are self-leveling, and they are very, very good at self-leveling. For example, I just put these drops down here. Hopefully we get a focus. I just put the drops down, and as I put them down, I pulled up to a point to end it and go to the next one. You can see that they have already leveled themselves into a nice round cabochon type shape with no pointy tip showing that I had pulled up. The first one is not perfectly round because I had a big air bubble and it went squirted all to the side. I could have added a little bit more and just made it a little larger and it would have self-leveled to a perfect round, but I don't even mind that because it's just not exactly round, but not too far off. Okay, so that is a standard gloss of the crystal drops, which are round all the way up and down the regular standard round tube that you see with the large gem on the top. Now the metallic ones are shaped the same because they're also crystal drops. They'll still say crystal drops, but they will also say metallic right by the crystal drop there. I didn't turn any of these upside down in preparation to get air bubbles out of them, and I do use them frequently. So I'm also doing this just on standard light, very light cardstock. I should probably be doing it on acetate so that I could actually take these drops off and use them. But acetate reflects really bad in the camera, and I wanted to try to minimize the glare or minimize the reflection that you would see there. So now I've done the grape in the crystal, which is the standard crystal, always a gloss. And then the copper penny and the rhubarb are both metallic. Copper penny is the easiest to see, I think, right now, but you can see as it dries, you will get a metallic shine on it. Hopefully that is focusing. Yeah, you can already see the metallic shine on the copper penny real easily. Okay, so that is the crystal. The crystal, it will always be glossy, will always be shiny, always give you a shiny finish. If it says metallic, add a metallic finish to that. Now, the one that is opposite of that, you say, I don't always want it shiny. I don't always want it glossy. I'm going to grab something to try to keep our focus here if it can't. Okay, it's doing okay right now. I don't always want it shiny or glossy. Then you want the vintage drops. Vintage drops are in the square bottle, square all the way around, and they have the tiny top with the tiny gem. They're the ones that come to the point and have a tiny gem on top, as opposed to the great big gem, little tiny one. So the square bottle is real easy to remember that the square bottle is the only square one, and that is vintage. And it is exactly the opposite of the crystal in that the crystal will always be shiny, glossy, or metallic. The vintage is always matte. So that is the difference in the crystal and the vintage. Vintage is your matte colors. So if you, oh, I left this one open. We're going to get a big old squirt. You see, this is just what really happens when you use it. I use this one a lot, and I tend to forget to put the cap back on, and then I get a little bit of dried. Try not to squirt it everywhere, but I want to try to get that little goober out. I get a little bit of dried drops right there on the end. I'm trying to make a mess on this paper over here, not on the one that you're going to see. So again, I'm dropping it, and I'm just pulling it up to a point to take it off. I know you can't see that far down, I'm sure, but you could see the action of my hand and just pulling it up to a point. And as you watch it, it just immediately starts to self-level. Let's see. Starts to self-level immediately. You can see already that that tip, that little point is gone that I pulled it up to, and you get a perfectly round top. So this is a vintage. Vintage is always square, and vintage is matte. Okay, I should probably write that down. Be easy for you to remember. Vintage is square, and it is matte. Crystal is gloss or metallic, and it is round. Of course, I should have put that first. They're not in the same order. There wasn't a lot of planning into this. I just wanted to share this knowledge with those of you who've been asking about it. Okay, so that's the vintage and the crystal. Now, there are others that are in this same shape bottle. And I know you've got some and you're thinking, but that's not the only one, Marianne. You are correct. Also in this shaped bottle is the jewel drop. And it says jewel right there in front where the other one says crystal. Jewel drop dries translucent. And I see that I only grabbed the one, probably because I use this one a lot. Imagine a strawberry pie. And you dig into the strawberry pie and you've got giant strawberries, but then you've got all that beautiful strawberry colored gel between them that you can see that it's red, that it's strawberry colored, but you can also kind of see through it. It's translucent. That's exactly what they look like. In fact, that one is exactly what the strawberry coulis looks like. This one is called Cocoa Blush. And I will confess that I thought that the Jewel Drops were going to be my least favorite. I thought I would probably never use them, and I thought I probably did not want more than just one to demonstrate. Not true. Once I used it, I realized how versatile they were and how cool they look, and now I want them all. So this one, for example, in fact, I'm just going to write this here. This is the Jewel Drop. It is also round, but it is translucent. One of the ways I use the Cocoa Blush Jewel Drop a lot is if I put down a butterfly, whether I'm drawing a butterfly or a dragonfly, coloring with colored pencils, or whether I cut it out of a magazine, or whether it's a piece of paper or cardstock ephemera or acetate or something shiny, that I get in a package. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll often take this Cocoa Blush and I'll run a line of this, just like that, over the body of the butterfly or dragonfly. As that dries and becomes translucent, it has that cocoa color, which is a soft blush cocoa brown color, but it's translucent. I can kind of see through it. So I can see the body below it, whether it's in a pitcher or, acetate or whatever it's made of. But the translucent drop over the top really brings it to life and looks very, very cool. So the Jewel drops they're amazing. They're awesome in the center of a flower, or all different kinds of places where you want to see some color, but you just maybe want a hint of color and some translucency so that you can kind of see through it. Okay, there's another one that is in the round one, same shape, and this one is called Glow Drops. Yeah, camera might have a hard time with that one because this is a glow in the dark. I believe, at least at the time of this filming, there is only 3 glow colors, and they are neon pink, neon green, and neon blue. They don't call them neon, I'm saying that. This is Blue Crush and Apple Sour, excuse me, and Shocking Pink. But they are Glow Drops Neon. That's what it says. So they do say Glow Drops Neon. Hopefully we'll get a focus right there. You can see that. Come on, camera. Anyway, they are all neon, glow in the dark. And if you can't tell them apart by their color, which is pretty obvious, if you look at the top is black. They're the same size and same shape as the standard crystal drops, but the jewel on the top is black instead of clear. So you can tell the glow in the dark. And again, you can see the sample that I put up the top there. Let's go ahead and give you a quick sample right here. There's a glow in the dark pink. And make nice big dollops there so you can see them. The pink, the apple sour, and the blue crush. They're really pretty. I am not sure yet what I'm going to do with them, but they are gorgeous colors, and I'm sure I'll find something. I'm trying to remember because there was somebody that told me that they got them immediately because they loved them and what they were doing with them, and I cannot remember. I just can't remember, but they'll be fun. Self-leveling, the same as the others, but neon colors. How pretty is that? That would be fun if making a card for a child or a piece of art for a child because, you know, they love neon colors. So these are the neon glow in the dark, and they are also round. Oh, but they have the black top, the black gem on the top. Okay, so let's see. There is another kind of drop that is self-leveling that I really love. Might be my favorite of all, and this is the one called Dream Drop. Dream Drops. Dream Drops are just that. They're very dreamy. The two that I have here are Indigo Eclipse and Dragon Scales. So, you know, when you look at a dragon's scales, for example, and they're very iridescent, you know they're green, but they're iridescent. Or you look at a butterfly's wings or a fairy's wings, and they've got some color, but they're iridescent, which means you see lots of color as they move, and the light catches them at different angles and different shapes. You can see all the different colors in them in that iridescency. That's what these are. So this is dragon scale green, and it's going to give you that same iridescence of the green dragon scales. You see all the colors and things that you see with those. And then this one is the Indigo Eclipse. This reminds me more of the fairy wings, maybe the mermaid. Oh, the mermaid could use the dragon scales too. The dragonfly wings. So if you were watching me as I put that down, I drew like a, oh, it kind of looks like a gourd shape, doesn't it? It was kind of an upside down raindrop, really. And then I just went inside and filled it inside, and you could see the difference of the two different lines that I outlined. And look now, it's self-leveled. It's all come together as one. It's kept the shape, but it's all self-leveled together so you don't see the line of the different lines that I took. This one, I just did 3 lines back and forth next to each other, like a swirl, like an S, but all close together touching. And it has also self-leveled into one piece, and you cannot see that I made more than one pass on there with the drop. I'm turning at different angles so that hopefully you can see some of the iridescence. There we go. Yeah, see some of the other colors and the iridescence that comes out of those. The more area you have covered, the more you're going to see that iridescence. Also, the more it dries, the more you will see the iridescence. We're kind of losing a focus, so let me bring this up here for the camera just to help it. I'm going to write down here Dream Drops. See if it'll keep the photo. There we go. Dream Drops. And they are iridescent. Because I really wasn't planning on this, I didn't do any ahead of time and let them dry. But I will tell you that all of the features that they have are all much more pronounced after they're dry. So even after just seconds, you can see the iridescence of those two coming to life more and more. When they are completely dry, they're amazing. Back here to the crystal mousse, look at that copper penny. The more it dries, the more metallic it becomes. Isn't that awesome? Even the glow in the dark. Okay, so that is our Dream Drops. Now, the Dream Drops shape, what is this? Is that a rhombus? It's a square that's pushed off center. You could call it a diamond if you hold it this way. It is diamond shape. Geometry, I want to say it's a rhombus. I want to say that, but I'm not 100% sure, so I won't. So we'll call it a diamond shape for now. So that is diamond shape. Now, it is the only one that is diamond shape. It is taller than the crystal, and it is the only one that is diamond shape. So if you see one that has this diamond shape on the bottom, you know, without a doubt, it is a Dream Drop. You may not know what color it is. You may not be able to see the iridescence in it. It might be because of the lighting, but it is a Dream Drop, and that's what it does. So for sure. All right. So there's still another type of drop. This is a stone drop. It says stone drop right there, like the others say crystal drop or dream drop or jewel drop. Stone drop. That metallic is really giving the camera fits. Camera has a hard time with metallic and with plastic wrappers, cellophane, acetate, things like that. It reflects the light off the camera's eye, and camera has a really hard time focusing with those. Okay, stone drops have a fat bottom. You can see the difference in that. They are just about the same height. Well, that is exactly the same height. They're exactly the same height as the others, but the shape is different. It comes down to a fat bottom here and then tapers in to where it sits on the ground or on your table, probably not the ground. But you can see its shape is kind of like a pear, shape. And it is the only one, and you can kind of think of that as a stone shape. A stone's heavier on the bottom. A stone's going to sit there on its heaviest side, on its biggest side. So think of it as shaped like a stone. It is the stone drop, and it's the only one shaped that way. Now, stone drop is also the only one that is not self-leveling. The only of these drops that I've shown you that is not self-leveling. This is white. Do I have? I'm looking to see if I have anything that is not white nearby. I don't have a stone drop that is not white, but I do have a piece of paper that is not white. And I'm going to put it on here. And I'm also going to put it on here because it is white. This one, in fact, is called chalk white. Now, a stone drop is not self-leveling, and a stone drop is full of little teeny tiny gritty things, just like a stone. It's like ground up stone. A stone drop is going to stay exactly as you left it. So see how I pulled up the top with a tiny little tip to pull it off? It's settling down, but that little tip that I pulled off is still there. It's still there. The stone drop is going to stay. In fact, this one is even more pronounced. See, there you can see it against my finger. That little tip that I pulled up right there. Okay. Stone drop is going to stay exactly where you put it, because maybe you want to make some stones, some rocks, a stone path. You might go like this, and can you hear? You can hear the grit. As I'm rubbing that around, you can hear the grit. Maybe you don't rub it in circles, but maybe you do like this, and I'm going to create a stone path. And they're going to be kind of different shapes, but this stone path is all going to kind of fit in here. And it's not perfect, so you don't really want it perfect. Little bits and pieces. See how that could be a stone path? Or maybe you're making a card, and that's hard to see. I'll pull it up closer. But maybe you're making a card for somebody, and it has a scene, and in front of this little house here, you want to make a little stone wall. You could take this, and hard to do because I'm just imagining the other parts and pieces, but maybe I'll do, there's one, and then maybe I'll leave a tiny bit of room for grout. Maybe not, they just put them really close to each other so they can even be touching, but they're obviously separate ones. They're not going to melt together and self-level because they're stone drops. They have the grit. They do not become one. Okay, so there's three blocks. And so then maybe I just keep going. I'm not going to use all this on this piece of paper making stone blocks, but just to give you an idea. But you could actually make your own little stone wall, stone fence, whatever you want out of stone. Just an idea of how you can build those. On this one, there we go. Even on the white, you can see how you can create. You could have a colored background if you want, or have a plain background, a white background, and get the stone drops in a different color or multiple colors to make you can even mix them to make your stone pathway or your little stone driveway or, a stone road, whatever it might be, or a stone wall of a house. That's cool. That's one of my favorites. So the thing about the stone drops is that as it dries, in fact, I'm going to show you the top because this is long dried. As it dries, the little grits in it rise to the top. Oh, it's really hard to see it on camera, but there we go. Okay, as a stone drop dries, the little grits rise to the top, and you can see all those little grits, so it actually looks like a stone. Isn't that cool? When you push it, squeeze it out, it's fairly smooth. And these two drops that are sitting here on the pieces of paper, they're still fairly smooth. And you won't see this until it's dry. And if I feel it, it feels rough, like a piece of sandpaper, fine sandpaper. It's not super gritty, but it looks gritty. It looks really gritty, like an actual stone that does not have all the smooth edges. So that is very cool because it stays where you put it. It does not self-level. It does not merge together or melt or any of that. So that is the stone drops. Stone drops have the fat bottom, the stone bottom, and they, as they dry, the grit comes to the surface. So the grit surfaces when it's dry, and so that it looks like a stone. Okay. Now, whoops, let me pull that one to the side. This is not a drop per se, but it's one that I use a lot like the drops or in conjunction with them. And this is called a glitter accent, NUVO's glitter accent. And I'm not really a glitter girl. And I just realized that I left out the glitter. I thought I had one in my hand. I'm sorry. There is a crystal. Boy, I blew that. There's a crystal drop that they're all gloss, and then some of them are metallic, but then there's one that says glitter, and it is a glitter drop, and it looks a lot like this, but it comes out as a drop, and it self-levels, and it's magnificent. Then this is a glitter accent. And the difference is because it's not a drop, it doesn't self-level. It, like the stone, stays where you put it. You put it where you want it, and that's where it stays. The reason that I like let's see if you can see that on the top there. You see the reflection underneath it. That looks kind of cool. The reason that I like NUVO's glitter products, like the glitter drop and the glitter accent, is because they're not great big chunky glittery juvenile glitter like glitter glue often is. They are very fine. In fact, they've got some powder fine glitter that I love. And this just has a very fine glitter in it. You can see the reflection of the different colors, but it's not a big chunky glittery. It's a fine glitter that looks really cool. So I might do something like this. Like this one is called Atlantic Drift, like the Atlantic Ocean. And I tend to rub things too much all the time. I just keep going and going, even past the point of maybe you should stop, especially when I'm talking. So I might do something like this and say I'm doing a winter scene. Oh, big air bubble. Say I'm doing a winter scene and there's a park or a pond or something. I might do something like this that reflects that pond right there has a frozen surface. And so it is glittery, reflective, so it doesn't look like water, but it does look like frozen water. You can put your finger in it. I'm not going to right now just because we're doing this. Oh, but I want to. I can get my finger in it and just rub it all around and make it super smooth instead of as chunky like that. You can also, maybe there's a river or a stream that's running through your scene. You can spread some of this out and then go back and do like this. So now this becomes this becomes the little stream that's running through. You can make it fatter in some spots, thinner in other spots. I like to make them imperfect. Hubby and I fish together, a lot of streams. Streams are not perfect, and that's what makes them amazing. So I like to make them not perfect. Yeah, there's always that tiny little spot, like right there, perfect spot for fish. So there, and so you can make a tiny little stream out of it, and it has that glitter as if the water's moving, and you can see the movement in it and the sun hitting it. But again, it's not a big, chunky in-your-face glitter. It's a very nice, fine glitter accent. That's maybe why they called it glitter accents. And like all the others, comes in a multitude of colors. There are lots of colors of each one of these kinds, and you have to just go check out the colors. Okay, so that, I'll write over here, both of those were glitter accents. Okay, and you can tell that they are not self-leveling, that they stay where you put them. I'm going to move that to the side for a second because the last one that I want to show you is not a drop at all. And didn't realize we were getting such a reflection. I'm going to do this with a light because I'm hoping that that will really add to this so that you can see it on camera. This is the NUVO Shimmer Powder. Wow, that really added a shadow there. That's what that did. The NUVO Shimmer Powder. And this one is Blue Blitz, and this one is Atlantis Burst. And the Shimmer Powder is very cool. It looks like blue. It says it's Blue Blitz, but that means it's blue about ready to blitz. And I can just tap a tiny bit of blue powder. I mean, just literally a tiny, tiny bit. I have to tap so carefully because it's so easy to get too much, but just, you can barely see. I got to pick this up because I know you can barely see that there's any powder there at all. There's a little more here, but I wanted to show you this with hardly any, like just barely dust of powder there. And then you give it a spritz of water, and look what happens. When more water, it'll become more like watercolor. Less water, and it'll not move as much. But you can make this move around. You can make it literally whatever color you want, but there's all kinds of, there's a lot right there. I might not even have wanted that much. What I didn't bring over here was a brush, and I would love to have a brush here because with a brush you can take it and move it around however you want it. And look what happened with that Blue Blitz. Now putting that much water made it all, almost all the same color because it all blended in together. I can still see different shades of blue in there throughout, and there's still quite a bit of water on the paper. So I'm just tapping a little bit more over the top of the water. Watch what happens. Just reacting to the water that's there. So you can create additional cool looks. See how it reacts to the water and then slowly starts to drip down. There's not as much water up here. Maybe I want to give it a little water up there. Just ever so slightly. Just gave it such a tiny bit of water. And you can do all kinds of things with that. So you can see how you could use that with other things in art, even maybe put down mousse or alcohol ink or any of the other mediums that we like to use. And then after that is set, then you go back and put some of this on top of it and give it a spritz. I've actually taken some of this and mixed it in with mediums like maybe a heavy body gesso or a light colored mousse. And I've mixed it in with the palette knife, and I often don't mix it a lot, just mix it a little bit, and so I can get that kind of spritz throughout. Looks really cool. I'll quick show the Atlantis Burst, because that's one of the green varieties. Looks green, but you know that there's more than green in it. There's another green one too. I think it's called Green Parade. But of course, it has more than just green. Wonder what would happen if we put some green over the top of the blue where it's still quite wet. Let's see if that does anything there. Okay, so there's a little bit of green around the outside, not a lot. I don't want to spray those. You know, in my trying not to spray a whole lot, what I'm getting is a lot of runny there. Instead of just giving it a good mist where the mist would come down, I'm getting the runny drips out of the spray bottle. I'm also trying not to spray all the other things that are around me on the desk. But meanwhile, what's really cool, look at this. Let's see. That's not going to work with that light. Let's see if this will work. I don't know if we'll even be able to get all the little colors that are in that green right there. There are so many colors. It really looks cool. There's one called Solar Flare that is yellow. It's as if something in the solar system exploded, and you get all these great colors with the yellow. So you can mix even any of the shimmer powders. You could mix them together before you put them down to get your own combination. But they are super fun to use by themselves in combination with others. You can see how you can put them down, give it a spritz, even take a hair dryer. I'm not sitting at my desk in my studio right now, or I could grab a heat gun. A heat tool is going to heat and set it right away, but a dryer that has air movement is going to move it around a bit. And so when you get like some water sitting there, I could move it around with the heat gun or with your pump air mover like we do with the alcohol inks. Either way, you could do that, and you can make your own designs out of them. Nice backgrounds for cards or for collaging if you do it on something thin. This is on a very thin cardstock, so I knew it was going to get wet, so it's not just a piece of paper, but I didn't really want to grab heavy-duty cardstock because you don't really need it. It's just a super thin. I run this through my printer all the time when I want something just a little bit more than copy paper. Look at this. It looks like a little piece of metal sitting over here in the corner. Really cool. And it all has that metallic shine to it. Oh, we lost our focus. Camera. Trying a different way of recording these with the different camera, and I don't think I like it quite as much. So sorry for that lack of focus here and there. See if we can get the camera to focus again and bring it down. If not, we'll just do this because it does like to focus on this one. Makes it a little easier to focus. There we go. Okay, so anyway, that's in a nutshell. If you have any questions about something that I didn't talk about with NUVO, please leave me a question or a comment in the description box. And more importantly, well, not more importantly, if you have ways that you have used some of these products in your projects, and maybe other things that you have found out about them in your using of them, please leave that in the comments, because we all like to continue learning new ways, new ideas, new features about the products that we use, and we would all love to hear. So please leave a comment and let us know so that we can try it out ourselves. Meanwhile, get you some NUVO drops, or if you've already got them and haven't known how to use them or what they're going to look like, or what is the difference in all of them. There you go. There's the difference in all of them right there. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging out with me for a few minutes and sharing this time. And I hope that does help clear up some of the questions about NUVO drops.